Hi scholars, these are the solutions to your weekly quiz number 7. There were 2 quizzes. One quiz ended up not having all the questions on them because of the way they were copied. So one of your quizzes looks like this and starts with this one as the first question. The other looks like this and starts with this as the first question. And then I think there's a third version as well. So there's a version that doesn't have as many questions as the other. As you can see, cuts off. I'm going to be using the version that had all of the questions in it. And it's going to be the same questions are on every single exam, except the one with, that got cut off is missing like 3 questions, okay? So if you happen to have that quiz in front of you that's short 3 questions, just make sure you follow along when I review them and just understand the logic behind what's being said, okay? All right, so the first question says, if triangle A prime, B prime, C prime is the image of triangle ABC, under which transformations will those 2 triangles not be congruent? So I just made a note and I annotated not be congruent, and I made a note of what a reflection is, a translation, a dilation, and a rotation. So a reflection over the axis is a rigid motion or an isometry, meaning it's a congruence transformation. So your triangles are going to be the same size and shape, and they will be able to lay flat over each other. A translation is the same situation. It's a rigid isometry. It's a rigid motion. A dilation is not, though, because a dilation changes the size. So it's not rigid, and it's not a congruence transformation. That's why it's going to be C, because they're not going to be congruent. If the triangle shrinks, if the image is smaller or larger than the pre-image, then they're not going to lay flat over each other, which is what congruence means. Okay, so the answer is C, and I think everybody got this correct. The second one states, given segment MN shown below, with point M being negative 6, 1, and point N being 3, negative 5, what is an equation, so we want an equation, of the line that passes through 6, 1 and is parallel to MN? The first thing I'm going to do is determine what is the slope of MN. Well, first of all, I know that it's going to be, this segment has a negative slope because it starts up here and it ends up all the way down here. So I can get rid of anything with a positive slope, like choice C and choice D. Okay, so because I know that my slope is going to be negative just because of the way the segment looks, I can eliminate 2 answer choices with positive slopes. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is identify what is my Y-intercept here. What's my Y-intercept? So for this segment here, my Y-intercept is 1, 2, negative 3. Now, we know that based on the 2 answer choices that are left, the slope is negative 2, 3. So your answer is going to be negative 2, 3. But if this is, and let's check the slope of this line, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? So up twice, to the left 3 times, right? So the change in Y is up twice. How do you figure that out? Figuring out slope is straightforward. Find where your segment falls flat on the grid lines and not in between, all right? And that happens in 4 places. And then from one point to another, count how much the rise versus the run. How many times do you have to go up and over to get from here to here? Well, I have to go up 2 times and to the left to get over here. So that means my slope, if it's up 2, the change in Y over change in X, up 2, left 3, would end up with 2, negative 3. But if I have the exact same slope and the exact same Y-intercept, I'm going to have the exact same line segment, which means this would just be a segment that overlaps this one, which doesn't make sense, right? That's not parallel. That's the same line. So that we could not have this answer choice. It would be choice A by process of elimination. Okay. Another way that you could have done this, because I do believe in showing 2 ways if one doesn't make sense to you, is to you could plug in, okay? So if you take this point, it passes through this point, you could plug in the 1 for Y and then 6 for x. We're testing this point here, and see if it makes the statement true. Which of the statements does it make true? Okay, 2/3 x or 2/3 6 minus 3. So this, negative 2 divided by 3 times 6, is going to give us negative 2 times 6 is negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4 plus 5, which would definitely give us 1. Try this one. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 over 3 times 6 would give negative 12 divided by 3, which is negative 4 minus 3. That's not true because negative 4 minus 3 is going to give us negative 7. That doesn't work, so it has to be this one. Okay, let's go ahead and work on the solution for this one. Once we are done with this page, it's going to be another video. There's going to be a part 2 for this. A lot of people got this one incorrect. All right, so it says in the diagram below, ABC has vertices 4, 5. 4, 5, which is A, 2, 1 for B, and 7, 3 for C. What is the slope of the altitude drawn from A to BC? 1 second. Okay, so what is the altitude drawn from A to side BC? So we know that an altitude is literally a segment that has one endpoint on the vertex and has an endpoint on the opposite side, but it intersects it at a 90-degree angle. So it's perpendicular to side BC. So we would have to know what the slope of BC is, and then based on that, find the inverse reciprocal of that slope. So the slope of BC is, so from this point to this point, I'm going to go down 1, 2, okay? So that means my change in y is negative 2, and then down 2, and then left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I went down twice and to the left 5 times, and negative 2 over negative 5 is just 2 over 5. But that's the slope of segment BC. That doesn't tell me what the slope of the altitude will be. The slope of the altitude would be, so I have to get rid of this, and look at which one of these answer choices would tell me what the inverse reciprocal of 2/5 is. And that would be, right, the reciprocal is the opposite or the flip fraction, 5 halves, or 5 over 2. And this is positive, so I have to, right, the inverse would be negative. So the answer would be D. All right, last question for part 1, video part 1. In the diagram of triangle ABC below, segment AB is extended to point D. If the measure of CAB is equal to x plus 40, and the measure of angle ACB is equal to 3x plus 10, and the measure of angle CBD is equal to 6x, what is the measure of angle CAB? A lot of people got this right as well, which was great. Here you're using exterior angle theorem. Okay, and exterior angle theorem tells us that the two non-adjacent angles are equal to the sum of the two non-adjacent interiors are equal to the sum of the exterior angle. Okay, so let's set up that equation as x plus 40 plus, so that means angle A plus angle C is equal to angle CBD. Angle A is x plus 40, angle C is 3x plus 10, and angle CBD is 6x. So that's going to be 4x. Just going to give myself some more space here. Got kind of dark. I'm not sure how that happened. 4x plus 50 is equal to 6x. And then just solve this like a regular equation, which it is. Okay, so 50 is equal to 2x, and so x is 25. Okay, so if x is 25 and we're trying to figure out the measure of angle CAB, then CAB is right here. We just take 25 plus 40, and that's 65. So that's how we got answer choice D. All right, that is video part 1. If you do have any pressing questions, comments, or concerns about this video, let me just bring this down a little bit more so you can copy if you need to. Please see me about them. Okay, see me about whatever your questions are, or if you feel comfortable emailing me, please do so. Alrighty, bye-bye.